A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I shouldn't do that again. What's up, everybody? We're complicated business, folks. Complicated business. I'm over here, I guess, pressing the wrong buttons. I thought I was going live. Forget it. But thank you, Anchor Baby, helping out. We are going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, The Hake Report show. Everybody, you're welcome to join me. If you so please, you can super chat. Look at this scary spider. Fun / cool spider, right? So, like I said, like I started to say, you can call in 1-888-775-3773. Some of you guys already on hold. I will get to your super chats. I did see that some did indeed come in. Oh, Lord. Nice. Popcorn wrote a book for me. Haven't heard from Popcorn for a while. Hey, happy spring, Popcorn. I don't know if I've heard from him since spring. Thank you, Jesse Lee Peterson, raiding the stream over there on the Hake Report. I should be live on X. Yep, looks like it's going. You know, it's funny because you hear that the economy is suffering a little bit or something like that, and, you know, Trump is making some corrective measures, it sounds like, with the tariffs situation, making things balanced again, because these countries, you know, they take advantage of us. And there are a lot of the importers, I don't hear it mentioned, but a lot of these people who are importing and buying imported stuff, they're not like normal white Americans like you and me. Yeah, some white Americans are going to have to pay higher prices, supposedly. But I know some importer people who work, you know, bringing in Chinese cabinets, for example, and they're Chinese people. Bringing in Chinese prefabricated cabinets and all kinds of stuff like that. All kinds of Asians bringing imported stuff. And shout out to the Asians, but it's like they're taking advantage of a system. These are not pro-America Americans. They're pro-themselves people. And good for them taking advantage of the situation. As Trump said about China, I commend them for taking advantage of us. But they understand that this is the right thing. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So spare me your melodrama. Ladies at the Skim, for example, who are saying, you're going to have to factor in tariffs in your monthly budget. Who keeps a monthly budget? Pfft, lame losers. I'm kidding about that. Anyway, oh, and I missed some of your super chats yesterday. That's terrible. Oh, Mr. Pink was like, worst Hake Report closing ever. Although it was a beautiful call from Terry in Oregon. So we appreciate her if we appreciate anybody. But, you know, anyway, guys, it's the AJ Gallardo original theme song because it is Friday, the Hake Report day. I mean, the last day of the week, I played the original theme song. So let's see if this works, but let's just get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys! I hope you're enjoying the beautiful Earl the Squirrel and the beautiful AJ Gallardo original theme song of the Hake Report. Thank you, man. Shout out to Trevor for his version.
Oh, it's the Hake
So, how y'all doing? I am fine. You like my Facts versus Truth t-shirt? Size medium. Makes me look big as heck. Big as Hake. Big as Hake is a good word for it, right? Because it's sort of self-referencing. Nice. This is an old version because this is the tri-blend. I don't like the tri-blend, actually. Honestly, because it has polyester. Terrible. But yeah, I like to look at squirrels because they're so awesome. You know who else liked to look at squirrels? Bruce Lee. He would watch how animals moved and take a cue. Maybe that's what I should do for my beta back. Who needs weightlifting? You know what I mean? Whoa, where was I? Where did I jump to? Yeah, okay, pretty good. Just call me Anchor Baby. You know how Anchor Baby knows right where to find where he was? Somehow he just has the touch. Nice. Okay. I would like to get to a couple of calls here right off the bat, if you please. Denny in Bulgaria is on the line over here. Denny, thanks for calling, man. How you doing?
Good evening, Mr. Hake. Hope you're doing well, sir. How are you?
I am doing fine. What time is it over there?
A little bit after 7 o'clock. Your show starts a little bit after 7 o'clock.
Wow. Okay, so 7 p.m. in Bulgaria, 9 a.m. in L.A. Cool, man.
Yes, we have about 10 hours difference that I know of.
Do you have multiple time zones, or is Bulgaria a single time zone country?
Most European countries are single time zone countries. They're not a big countries.
Yeah. Cool, man.
I was calling because I heard you on Mr. Peterson's program about segregation. And Mr. Hake, every single country, state, village, city has that issue. Like everywhere.
Wow.
And I just wanted to, everywhere. And I wanted to give you an example of how we did it here. For starters, we make mandatory, if you want to have driving license, you should at least have finished 8th grade. They will be upping it to 10th grade, but you should at least have 8th grade of education. So you should at least start high school. And we did it especially because we had those issues with the Gypsies here.
Oh.
So that way they can, most, not all, you know how Mr. Peterson says, not all, but most. So not all, but most don't have 8th grade education. They always vote for the Communist Party, and they're always the poorest, and they just want free stuff. They're like that.
Do they try to force you to call them Roma people?
I'm talking about the
Romani?
Gypsies in Bulgaria, Mr. Hake. I know a lot about Rome, but I'm not talking about Rome.
No, I know that, but yeah, I don't think they have anything to do with Rome. But the Gypsies,
no, they don't.
Gypsies is considered like a antiquated version of the word nowadays by the extremely communist and politically correct. They call them Romani people for some weird reason. And I was wondering if you have some, if they try to force the Bulgarians to use politically correct terms for the Gypsies. I didn't know Gypsies were communist people over there. If you guys have political correctness forced on you.
When the USSR invaded those lands, they forced us all together, just to live together. And when that fell, I have nothing against the Gypsies. I even have colleagues that are, of that ethnic group, and they have pretty much every opportunity. They have the same opportunities that I have. But most of them don't want to take them.
Right.
So, that's their problem. And about the whole forcing thing, I heard about that, but this is Southern Europe. That doesn't work here.
Oh, good. Yeah, because you guys are
people,
former. Yeah. You guys are are you guys former communists? Were you in Soviet Union before?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was never part of the Soviet Union, but the entire Eastern Europe was invaded by the Soviet Union, and they were forced to pretty much do whatever
Yeah.
The Soviets wanted to. So no, never been an official republic, but the entire Eastern Bloc, that's why it's called Eastern Bloc, was subjugated.
Yeah.
And now they try to force us to use specific words, but this doesn't work here.
Nice.
It works on Facebook, but
Right.
in real life it doesn't work because you can't just force me to call you something. I'll call you whatever I want, and you can call me whatever you want.
Yeah. Right on.
It doesn't work that way. So there is a slur you can say about the Gypsies. It's I don't know if I can say it on the radio because I don't want to give you trouble on YouTube.
I didn't know that in English we used to use rip off, or we used to say gypped. I got gypped, meaning you got ripped off. You paid too much for an item, or somebody's basically like gave you too little for something. Gypped is short for gypsied. I didn't know that it had to do with gypsies. It's interesting. Anyway.
Most of them really don't want to work, which is fine.
Uh-huh.
I have nothing against people that don't want to work. So we have those ridiculously bad quality buildings outside of the city and outside of the big cities. So they live over there. They don't really pay taxes because you have nothing to pay taxes for. They don't have running water. There's no sewer line. There's no electricity. So, it's like that. At least they're not around here.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you can live any way you want to live. If you want to work, there's a lot of work. And, people are getting paid for that work. That's completely normal. But if you don't want to work, you can just go live with the Gypsies. And obviously, most people don't want that.
Yeah.
They love this degenerate music. They really love it. And they play it all the time. That's also fine. But as long as
they're not in your neighborhood, disturbing your sleep and peace. Right.
I mean, technically, they are in my neighborhood because like 5 minutes from me is the biggest prison in Bulgaria. So it's full of gypsies. But, they don't walk the streets. They're inside the prison.
Yeah. Wow, what a mess. So
yeah, and again, that's how we segregated from one another. Just they can't afford to be here, and they can't most, not all, but most can't afford to be here. They can't afford cars because they can't drive it.
Yeah. Because
they don't go to school and they don't have a driving license. And if you can't, and it's very difficult, by the way, to get a driving license here. It took me, I think, 3 times or maybe 4 to get a driving license.
Wow, because they're strict with their driving tests, or what?
Not only the tests, you have actually a test. I think now it's 90 or 100 questions, and you have 1 hour to pass it. And I think you have 5 mistakes you can make, and if you don't, if let's say of all the 100 questions you get only 94, you don't pass.
Wow. Wow.
Different situations. How would you act
High
in
standards.
different scenarios, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And
I kind of respect it, actually.
Sadly, it doesn't really work because there are a lot of people that just, learn all the questions by heart, all the options, and they still do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
When they're driving. But at least it's some sort of a protection.
Yeah.
So this is how we did it, and it actually works. There is one city full of gypsies. Nobody goes there.
Yeah.
And it was so bad because when you drive through it, they start throwing stones at you. So pretty much the government just blocked the road and built a new road, around the city.
That's sort of a shame that they're allowed to be in the country and just destroy a whole area in the country that you basically can't go into anymore. But
in all fairness, it's the nasty part of the country. So, if you're a decent guy, you have no business there anyway.
True. Yeah.
So it's not really that much of a shame. It happens. It's it nowhere is perfect.
That's indeed.
It really happens. So it doesn't really matter as long as every country can sacrifice like a city or two, just so that the majority of the population can live in peace.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. Basically an open air prison.
Yeah. Well, they can leave anytime they want as long as they're educated.
Of their own making. Right. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So nobody's forcing them to be there. Although in all fairness, and it was a bit of a nasty thing that we did, but it was pretty much important. Like for years, 15, 17 years in a row, they were targeted, especially the Gypsies, and showing them pictures from Italy, from Germany, from France, and how amazing it is. You just need to move there, and they're waiting for you with open arms. So a lot of them actually moved.
So you tricked them into going into other countries.
Well, officially they are citizens, so we can't deport them.
Right.
And I was actually part of that too. And I was always like, oh yeah, I lived in Denmark. It was amazing. You guys should go there. I love Denmark, and I'm a bit guilty because I really shouldn't do it, but it actually made. Yeah, I know, but it was really worth it. I love my European brothers and sisters. I'm sorry for what I did, but it was necessary because my father used to say a place is only as good as the people that live there.
Right. And
when a lot of those messed up people moved elsewhere, then you can see the improvement.
Yeah.
I remember really good what Bulgaria was like 25, 27 years ago. It's nothing like that anymore. It's amazing. It's clean.
Wow.
It's starting to look like a nice place.
That's awesome,
man. And it's pretty good because they really have this solid ego. And they're like, hey, we made it in Europe. No, you didn't. They're like 8 people, 9, 10 people living in one room. They didn't make it there. And yeah, the people of Germany and France are pretty much now suffering what we no longer are forced to.
Indeed.
Because technically they're the citizen of the European Union, so, they have to tolerate them now. That's their problem.
What an interesting report.
Yeah. And, I'm always going to be a little bit guilty for, taking part of this, but...
Sending them off to Denmark?
To everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, a little bit in the United States as well.
Yeah, there's some people whom I suspect are gypsies who have been around this corner asking for money of cars. Actually, a little bit further up. They don't tend to bother me or anybody here. But and they're like constantly like playing like they're pregnant women and stuff like that. But they just that they're just scamming.
They're like that. Not all, but a huge majority of them.
Yeah.
And again, they're not like bad people or anything. I just think that they just have this genetic laziness within them, and they just don't want to work for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those that want to work, honestly, I've never seen a person that wants to work and couldn't find a job.
Yeah, that's true. You can always find work.
Yep.
If you want to work and you have some ability in your body to function.
And, I've heard stories, but, here in Southern Europe, it's not like that. So let's say you don't want gypsies. Let's say you own a swimming pool and you don't want them. You can pretty much, not let them in. You don't owe them an explanation.
Right.
If you tell them that they're not welcome because they're gypsies, you may have an issue. But you can put just a security guard and tell them not to do it. And it's under this face control policy. Every private business has it.
Nice.
And if the security guard deems it, inappropriate, they just don't let them in. So
Nice.
it's pretty. It's funny every summer. They complaining every summer when they want to go to the pool, they can't. But yeah, build your own pool.
Exactly. That's right. That's funny because you can size people up. You can among
Yeah.
blacks, like you can size up whether like a black in a Carl's Jr. for example is like a decent one that's just there to eat and get out of there and like anybody else, or one that's just slumming it and hanging out and possibly looking for trouble and you don't want to take the risk. You can tell the difference between individuals just
Of
by
course you
the
can.
profile.
I mean, I've seen them. I've seen them at the lines because I love swimming pools. It's beautiful, and they make it look like little islands, little paradise islands here in the city, in the middle of the city. And they're over there with the entire family. They're like 40 people, and they're bringing like football balls and stuff like that. Like I don't want this in my swimming pool.
Right.
I'm go over there to relax. I don't want to cheer your entire family. They're ridiculous, 40 people in one corner. So yeah, and every time they complain to the news, like they don't let us because we're gypsies, and the security guard is pretty much laughing at the camera. I said, well, we suspect something else pending, police investigation, so I can't talk about it. Goodbye, people, and they just leave every summer. Mistake every summer.
That is funny.
It
Right
is. And with that said, Mr. Hake, this is just a little example on how to do things. I'd like to wish you all the best, sir. Have a remarkable weekend. Kind regards to your audience and your viewers and colleagues. And God be with you, Mr. Hake.
Thank you, man. Same to you. Denny in Bulgaria. Take care.
Right on.
Bye.
Likewise. Bye.
Wow. Hector, a first-time caller in California, is on the line over here. I will get to your super chats. I do see them, guys. Hector, thanks for calling.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
How you doing today, sir?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Besides this government is driving me nuts.
Say again? The what is driving you nuts?
Oh, the Democrats are driving me nuts. I don't know what are they doing.
They're a mess.
It's a mess. This lady, Jasmine Cricket.
Jasmine Crockett. No relation.
I know.
No relation to Davy Crockett. Jasmine Cricket.
Yeah, but it's really a shame that everything, like, there's issues to be settled and discussed, and everything comes about race.
Yeah.
They're always trying to pull the black card in there, and nothing, because I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay.
And down there, all my friends are black. I got a few whites and a few Mexicans and a few other Hispanic people, but most of them are black. And
because of where you grew up, or what?
Well, yes. I lived in Chicago. I lived in New York. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, but I'm 44 without years, and
yeah,
I've been going everywhere. And the black family is a home. That's what I remember.
Say, what part is your home?
It was a home. Anywhere that you go, in a black family before, it was like a home. Like they were used to they're adopted. You know what I mean? And they make sure you eat. They were well. They used to teach their kids well. And I don't know what is happening, but it's like a virus that is hitting these people, and it's not the same anymore.
What area did you grow up where blacks were hospitable and family-like to you?
Well, I was in Chicago. I used to live down there by Homer Park.
Okay.
And
not that I know, but some people from Chicago area may be like, oh, okay, interested.
Yeah. It's Homer Park, West Thomas. And in Chicago, New York, I used to live just in Brooklyn, with my brother a little bit.
Yeah.
And everything was so different, but all these things, everything has to be racist. And all these people, the bald black lady, Jasmine Cricket,
right.
Maxwell, it's insane. Like, when are we going to stop? Who's going to stop these people?
When you say Maxwell, do you mean Maxine Waters? Or
Yeah,
somebody? Okay.
yeah, that Maxine Water. Yeah.
That
Lady.
it's interesting.
She looked like the Star. She looked like the Star Trek dude.
Oh, like Worf? You mean Worf?
Yeah.
That's funny. How do you spell Worf?
I got no idea.
Worf from Star Trek. That's terrible.
But it's the thing we have to come to. Everybody, it doesn't matter what color you are.
That's messed up.
By the end of the day, we all bleed red.
Yeah.
We all poop brown.
Well, sometimes, if we're healthy.
And sometimes baby green.
You said you're 44, so you grew up around the same time I did in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
And you're so right.
80s.
It was so different. Like the race thing, yeah, there was Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. We would hear from them, and we would just laugh and mock and roll our eyes.
Right.
And I don't even know that I knew a few black people, but not really. But I didn't know that any black people.
Nobody was like that.
Right. Yeah. Like they were universally mocked, except that the media, for some reason, kept on playing them.
It's like they made a clone of them, and then they just put them on set. That's it.
Right. What a mess.
They're totally different people.
Yeah. So things got
9 to the morning. I'm sorry?
Things got worse, or really exposed, I suppose, with Obama. Because when I first heard of JLP, it was in 2007, right before Obama came on the scene, at least as far as my consciousness was.
Yeah, before 208, yes.
Yeah, and I was thinking, Jesse's talking about stuff that everybody already knows. This racism thing is fake. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, they're a joke. Nobody takes them seriously. And then I start working for Jesse and listening to his show, and I realized it.
Right.
And then Obama comes on the scene, and Trayvon Martin happens, and Mike
then it
Brown,
makes sense.
And I'm like, oh, whoa. I was like, Jesse, you're late to the party. The Mexicans are as bad as the blacks. I'm like, whoa, they're not.
Right.
They are bad, but they're not as bad. They're not as off the deep end violent and screaming racism at the drop of a hat as the blacks are.
Right.
And now it's like everybody's falling for it.
And the same thing with these border policies.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying not to come. Yeah, come, but you got to come the legal way. This is the rule that is being there since the fathers put it.
Right. So true.
Okay, so how are you going to change how dare you change the rules of the fathers?
Yeah, that's true. And it's so presumptuous for the people who did it the right way. And it's
they had it away.
Yeah. And they don't even really have the American values of like freedom of speech and stuff. They end up voting in for more socialism, which is what they were trying to flee.
Right.
What a mess.
Right. It's a mess, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait until Donald Trump pick the big broom and start sweeping up.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's insane. Like, everybody can come, but legally. We cannot. You guys letting all these criminals in here, and like Donald Trump said, they're coming out about hospitals, psychology people. They have their brains not right. Murderers, criminals. Like, it can't happen like that. Look at all these people, all these innocent kids that die. They took their future away. I blame that on the Democrats.
Yeah.
They took their future away, and that's not fair.
True.
Not for those kids or their families.
Yeah. No, the schools are a mess and everything. It's terrible.
It's horrible. It's horrible. That little girl could be in school right now.
Which one are you talking about right now?
Lincoln and Riley.
Oh, Lincoln Riley. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But
he had the time to do that in the park?
Yeah. Just assault her and do her in.
America cannot even walk on their own soil.
Yeah.
Because you have all these crazy dudes over here, you know?
You know what?
I have no record, but I always say, hey, you mess with me and my family, I'm going to have to put you down.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, you have to protect your family.
Yeah, because the police ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, I know. Like Denny in Bulgaria, my prior caller was talking about how there's areas that are taken over by the Gypsies in Bulgaria where he is. And similarly, there's areas in like southeastern Arizona. We used to go there for like nature field trips and go camping and stuff. You're not even supposed to be in that area. They advise not to be in that area because there's criminal cartel activity on American soil. And it's too dangerous for Americans to drive through there or go through there because there's criminal drug trafficking on U.S. soil, and we're not supposed to go there. Like they advise us not to go there for our own safety in America. It's so crazy.
Yeah, but you guys advise us to not go there for our safety, or because you guys got something going on.
Yeah, fair question. Because there have been border agents who've been caught assisting in the drug trafficking thing and all kinds of stuff. Very true.
There's still people in the FBI. They have to go.
Yeah, indeed.
CIA. Tell me about it, my man.
Well, it's great hearing from you. Hector in California. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and another thing,
Yeah.
They don't believe on God no more.
They
and
don't.
The Lord is real. The Lord is real, and the Lord will make it happen. Just like He vanished everybody with a flood, believe me, He's going to come with a fire now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't break His laws.
Nope.
And do well
He's
in
the
life.
only one, the omnipotent, God Almighty.
Great call, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah. Thank you for calling. Call me again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely will.
All right. Take care, man.
All right, my man. You have a blessed day.
You as well. Wow. And Jaime in Minnesota on the line. Once tried to go by Jimmy, by the way. What's up, Jaime? Are you there? Jaime.
Yep, I'm here.
There you are. What's up?
Hey, you know that guy you were talking to?
Just now? Illegal. He's illegal, you think?
Yeah.
How do you figure? His accent or what?
Yeah, he's trying to make brownie points so he can stay.
That's all right. I'll take the brownie points, and if it need be that he be deported, it could be the best thing for him. I've heard from illegals who've been deported, and it was rough for them, but it was the best thing for them, and they still love us. They still love JLP and Hake and all that. But I don't know if he's illegal just based off his accent, because
yeah, I guess you're right.
You can grow up in America and hardly even have to learn English. I mean, most of the time those are adults who spend decades here. But anyway.
I'd still want to see his papers, though.
That's fair. That could be tricky to get your papers, and I get it, but it's understandable. We got to be tough. Can't be emotional just because they're our friends.
You know, you were talking about your beta back.
Yeah.
And there's some things you can take, some supplements. I'll send it to you to your email so you can look at it.
Okay.
But you don't have to live with a beta back. You can have an alpha spine instead, huh?
I know. They tell me that all I really need to do is lift weights.
No. You're going to hurt yourself, especially if you got inflammation back there. And especially if some of the things aren't healed up all the way.
Right, but that's part of it is getting some exercise in to strengthen and then rest and all that stuff.
Right, and so I was thinking about those apples, and I was looking around, and the USDA, they have data points on the nutrient density of fruits and vegetables from as early as 1907 to now, and it's been decreasing. So that apple we were talking about, today, allegedly, it's about, you need 5 apples today to match your great-grandpa's parent, or your great-grandpa's apple, the nutrient density.
Really?
Yeah, but that's if it's organic, because if it's not organic, then you're also eating a bunch of pesticides.
Right.
Which is going to decrease, how healthy it is for you.
Well, if you,
And,
let's say if you rinse it off, are the pesticides inside underneath the surface too?
allegedly, I'll have to look into that. But why? Well, anyway, that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is, all fruits, all vegetables, everything grown.
And where did you get this info? Do you remember? Was it like a
USDA?
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
don't know,
the
man.
USDA has data points.
Apples still seem really good to me.
Well, yeah, and this is what they did.
And I get that they're probably GMO apples or mutant apples, but yeah, go ahead.
They pump the ground with nitrates, right? And that makes the apple look good.
Oh.
Or the fruits and the vegetables, it makes it look green. It makes it look good. But it's empty. We're eating emptiness.
Well, the emptiness of an apple.
When it comes to nutrients like magnesium, potassium, K2, phosphates, all those things, it's been decreasing.
The emptiness of an apple is relative to the apple of before, you were saying. Because an apple, an apple and, veggies, they seem like they're just giving me real nutrition when I eat them, as opposed to when I eat fast food, for example. The fast food, it gets me really full and slow and tired and stuff, and I don't have to eat all day after it. But I don't feel refreshed and ready to go and satiated the way that I feel satiated by fruits and veggies.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And that's the glucose.
And yet I don't feel full either. Too full.
That's the glucose in the apple. And there's still glucose, sugars.
Oh.
Good, whatever sugars,
Okay.
But if you talk about the other nutrients, it ain't in there. And that's over across all fruits, all vegetables, even your oranges from Florida. You have less vitamin C in those oranges today than you did, 100 years ago, by a lot, by a significant amount.
You might be right. I don't know.
It's not even might. It's known.
Wow. Per JAIME and per the USDA.
Absolutely. So the reason why this happened is because of commercial farming. They overfarm, don't give the land time to rest, and all the nutrients are gone. And there's a method that the ground uses, bacteria and all kinds of things in the ground that pull up nutrients from the lower crusts, and those get damaged and destroyed. And so that's why every year the farmers, the commercial farmers, have to put things in to the ground. And they ain't going to put magnesium, copper, they ain't going to put zinc in. That costs money. Right? So the reason why they did this is also because America opened up to the outside world. So all the nutrients that were for Americans, they sent them out. And the government did it too. They subsidized the farmers. They said, we're going to buy more of your grains and more of your fruits and vegetables, and we'll buy it. Don't worry about if nobody buys it. Just make it. And then they sent them out to Africa. They sent it out to India, USAID, and things like that. Humanitarian type of stuff.
Yeah,
So
I heard that like Monsanto or some of these GMO companies, we're able to feed the world and solve world hunger though with all of this genetically modified, easy to grow food stuff, right? We can feed the world. Right. It's just less nutritious, but hey, at least they're fed. They're not starving. Isn't that good?
Yeah, they got a full belly of emptiness. Being full and empty at the same time.
Well, I don't know. It's better than the fast food. And not to hate on fast food. It has its place. Shout out.
But
Sponsor.
This is why.
Yep.
This is why the Muslims are going to win.
Oh.
In America, is because all of us white Americans, and I say us with loosely because I'm Hispanic.
Right. Yeah, but I get you.
They've deprived us of nutrients, and they've put that down in the media. They've oppressed it. You don't hear about it in the media so much.
The info. Yeah.
And that's why everybody's so anxious, so depressed, so suicidal, so transgender occupied. Also, if you listen to debaters who get on panels like the hoopty-doopty roundtable you go to sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and you listen to these people, they can't hold their thoughts correctly.
Right.
And that's because their central nervous system, like shout out to Lin Yan Chin, he knows something, is because their central nervous systems, their whole endocrine system is fried.
Wow. There may be something to what you're saying.
No, and when you're young, you can handle it because when you're younger, you have reserves.
More
that
energy.
Your parents gave you.
Yeah.
They're reserves, but you're cannibalizing it. You're using it up. It's grace from God.
Okay.
But it's not forever. The bill comes due.
Right.
And when it does, it hits hard. And that's why you see men and women, especially now, hit the wall around 30, 40 years old. They just hit the wall now.
Right, yeah.
Whereas
it happened
back
to
in
me.
the day, yeah, me too. Hey, I know. Back in the day,
but it was partly
young.
my own bad habits. Honestly.
Your community and your parents didn't teach you any better, but hey.
No, my parents taught me way better than how I started living.
They told you to take supplements?
No. I mean, they had me
told
taking,
you about how
my mother had me taking
food
vitamins,
isn't
but
really
it had nothing to do. Subs don't do anything, man. Supplements, that's take your supplements if you're taking them. It's a nice placebo, but supplements don't compare to water, exercise, sleep.
No, it doesn't.
Not
You're
drinking,
right.
All that stuff. Those are like huge.
Those are really good, especially back in the day, back 80 years ago when food was food and you got all the nutrients. Today, that's old. If you're doing that, you're decreasing. Today, it is no longer you just eat whole foods and you'll be okay. That is the lie now.
Whole foods?
Today,
what is a whole food? What does that mean? Does that mean apples, bananas, oranges?
A carrot. You cut up
broccoli,
and you make yourself a soup. That's a whole food.
Okay.
Even our chicken.
So what's a non-whole food? What's non-whole food? French fries?
Roots.
Roots?
Like a valerian root. Something that's not a.
But roots are not our
turmeric, spices.
Those things
herbs.
are not our problem. What's non-whole food? What's the?
I guess spices. Herbs.
That's not telling
nutrients.
Me. Eating a little bit of spices. That's not our problem. What's an example of food that we all eat? That's not whole food. Pizza?
Sure, I get you.
Is pizza not whole food? That's not whole food.
No, that
right?
is a whole food.
Oh,
it is. Turmeric curcumin is a non-whole food.
But
it's something that's.
That's not why people are unhealthy because they're eating too much cumin and turmeric.
No, they're not eating enough.
You got me
confused,
not getting enough.
Man. That's the problem. That's an anti-inflammatory.
Oh, no, but I'm talking about the bad kind of non-whole food.
I don't know the answer to your question.
Oh, okay.
And I might not understand your question either.
No problem. No, it's
fine.
But
the point is America is deficient, Europe is deficient, malnourished, and this is why they're getting taken over. And I kind of wondered, I always listen to you guys, and I wonder, why is this happening? Why are they so weak? Why are white men so weak? Why are men so weak?
And you want to chalk it up to physical things. I disagree with you guys who chalk it up to the water.
I don't just physical. No, absolutely not.
You know what I mean? The water is closing your third eye, say these people.
Spiritual and physical. It's both. And God said, keep your temple clean, right? And everybody's temple is a mess because they're not putting the sacred minerals, sacred vitamins in it.
Kevin Howe makes a great point. We are overly nourished. We're fat.
No, we are not. We're overly calorically nourished.
Right.
But calories are not nutrients.
True.
And this is how they lied to us.
So then you're both right. You're both right.
This is how they lied to us and said, we're feeding the whole world. No, you aren't. You're giving them calories, and that's not nutrients.
Nice.
And that's why all these kids in Africa are still growing with oversized heads and small bodies.
Hey, shout out.
Stuff like that.
I think it's a good look.
But so the only way to get back to George Washington level body physicality
with his alleged wooden teeth,
alleged, He got those knocked out in a fight by a bear, and he won that fight.
You made that up.
Yeah, I did. But look,
real fast. I got to wrap up. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, exercise and all that stuff is great, but you're going to burn out without the nutrients. You got to sup. You got to sup.
Okay. Well, thank you,
That's
man.
the world. That's the world we live in today, and that's no joke.
I appreciate it. Can you feel the difference when you sup?
Especially when I talk to you now, I can keep my thoughts more clearly.
So you think?
Oh,
Sorry.
I know what I'm.
I don't mean to be rude. Well, great call.
Maybe you're right.
I don't want to say great call, Jaime, but some fair points can be.
Hey, I
gleaned.
got to tell you about the nukes too.
Well, let's hear about the nukes next week, maybe.
Okay.
Take
Have
a
a good
rain
one.
check. Good to hear
Have
from
a good
you.
weekend.
I appreciate you, man. Bye.
Bye.
Before I get to Michael in Canada, who's next in line, and before I get to some of the news that is happening. Oh no, what did I just do? Oh, shoo. That's interesting. Oh, cool. I need a water break. I'm thirsty. For some reason, I got thirsty listening to stuff about nutrition. And so let's play something fun for you guys. Some Hake songs. Oh, no, I'd rather get up and get it. Thanks, Anchor Baby. I actually filled up a little mug of water, and I don't know what I did with it. Shout out to Bubbzlove and the late great name of Hot Computer Smell. I'm gonna kick your A word. What's up, guys? Let's get started. Hopefully you guys can hear it. He's mixing up songs. I appreciate that.
Get a job.
So, what's up, guys? I am James Hake. I like to go to Las Vegas. I like to go to Las Vegas. I may talk a little bit about whites.
Everybody just say,
I like to go to Las Vegas. This immigration thing. What do you guys think about it? What a shame, huh? Such a shame. Such a shame. It's a scam, man.
la la la,
Entire moratorium on all immigration.
la la la.
Put a stop on immigration right now. Put a stop on immigration. Stop on immigration right now. We don't need refugees coming in. We don't need refugees coming in. Put a stop on immigration right now.
Savage moment.
How's the volume?
Hey guys. S-A-V-A-G-E to the moment.
Hey guys.
S-A-V-A-G-E to the moment.
Dark side of the bear.
What the? Terrible.
Simps. BT blank. Oh. Simps. BT blank. Oh. Simps.
BT blank O.
I forgot to say hey guys. Sorry about that.
Blown the out.
Hot computer smell. Yeah.
Sorry about it. It's kind of quiet. I didn't want to blast your ears. Hey, I like the bass.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hake news.
Yeah.
The Hake report. Hake report. It's cool.
How about now?
Yes. Joel, from the twinkle of an eye to the twinkle of the toe, everybody knows the grace of God through twinkle toes flow.
Dance class.
Whatever. That was Joel Friday was my
Dance class. Dance class.
audio engineer at the time.
Ridiculous.
I just like. Dance class.
Black lesbian.
Black lesbian. Blacks don't listen. Blacks don't listen. Like, let's say Jesse got the Rona. Jesse got the Rona. He's not even sick.
Still low?
Jesse got the Rona. Jesse,
Come on.
Jesse got the Rona.
It feels a little bit muffled, perhaps? Not sure.
Get a job is amazing. You
Shout
right
out.
about that?
Get a job. La la la. Shout out to Bubbzlove.
That is so white. I like it. Thanks, man. All right, guys. Take care.
I had to put tape on my Casio. FYI. Side note. Okay. Yeah, yeah, sorry, Chris. He wasn't lying, according to him. It was quite a bit quiet. And I can hear myself in this thing. Let me go up here. Turn this volume down. Yapping Hake. Who's he yapping at? On the HACF report. Okay. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that. Let me get to Michael in Canada, who's on the line over here. Michael, thank you for calling and holding, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
What's up, man?
Not much. How about you?
Not much.
Cool.
Still alive and well.
Right on.
Man, Jamie, you got to stop with that, man. All these nutrition things. And first of all, you said one time you were the fatty, so you don't have to tell nobody what they got to eat to be healthy, okay?
I don't know. Sometimes fat people research stuff and they know things too. What's with all this anti-fat discrimination?
You got to apply it. Steady
Indeed.
and applied to your life.
Fair
so we
point.
can take whatever supplements you want. I know one of my friends is like Jamie, you know.
Yeah.
He talk all about these pills with the artificial stuff in it. And he's a fat hog, man.
Yeah.
He's a fatty, man.
True.
And he goes to the gym and that's all right. He's eating 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if everybody was eating 4 times a day and you had to be self-sufficient? You'll be starving.
True.
You cannot do that. First of all, and he said that his great-parents were so healthy and so blah, 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 you know?
Yep.
They were dying at 50 at that time.
Interesting.
Most of men were dying at 50 at that time.
Well, they had led harder lives than we lead in terms of work, the environment, and all that. I think maybe sometimes, depending if they were in the city. Yeah. I know some of the Irish. I heard that some of the Irish came in to work on the docks, and they would last 12 years. Young men would come work on the docks or something like that. Their lifespan on average was 12 years from the time they set foot in America. Crazy. That's a hard life.
Yeah. I mean, today to be healthy, you don't have to do much, to be honest.
Yeah.
You got to stay active. You got to eat at least once a day. And I talk from experience because I'm 28 years old. I know I'm young. I know I'm young. How do you picture me at 8?
I picture you fit on a bike, on one of those like BMX type bikes, and ready for a fight. But you're no longer fighting too much.
No, but I'm fit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fit. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm 5'7", and I'm 135 pounds, all muscle, baby.
So you're like Bruce Lee.
Oh yeah, and I can run a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm smoking.
Is that a welterweight?
No, that's plume. How do you say that in there?
Lightweight?
The lower weight.
Okay. Flyweight?
Plume. In French, we say plume.
Okay.
That means you're pretty small.
Okay.
But,
super lightweight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, I eat once a day.
Okay.
And
you sound like JLP.
JLP too, but JLP is old school,
Indeed.
And these people were not fed all these things in the head that they need to take supplements and all those kind of things. They eat when they gotta eat.
True.
That's it, and that's how. And he's a pretty healthy man because I know a lot of people at his age that are dying right now.
Right. Yeah.
Like they can't even stand up. And I eat once a day. I drink little water. And trust me when I say a lot of people of my age cannot follow me when it's time to be active, like physically active.
Yeah.
I don't lift much weight, But if you want to play sports or compete, do something, a lot of people had a hard time to follow me.
Yeah, I bet.
And that's saying a lot about how people eat and how they see the world, how to be fit, because it's not normal at 28 to be non-fit,
Right.
Even if you just doing your job, regular job, 40 hours a week, if you're not overeating and all those kind of things, you're not supposed to be fat.
That's true.
Because I can say one thing about Jamie that was true, but I don't know if he said that, but one thing's for sure, there are bad things to eat. Salty food and sugar is bad for you.
Yeah.
Not only bad for you, but for your teeth, too. Yeah, can't tell you that much.
Is salt bad for your teeth or just the sugar?
No, just sugar.
Yeah.
Salt, it's for your what's inside.
Right.
Inside the belly.
Yeah. Not too much of that.
And I think that's my theory, but I cannot be so sure about that. But I grew up pretty much like you, Hake. There was no sugar in my house. There were no soda pops. There were no sugary cereals. There were no chocolate. And all my life I've been eating vegetables, macaroni.
Oh, really?
And these things. And yeah. And I'm telling you, I'm way healthier of people that they were drinking soda pops and all those kind of things at home when they were younger.
Yeah.
Because I think that those kinds of things mess you up when you're growing up.
Yeah.
And when you don't do it, and you do once, for one, you don't need it. I mean, I don't have a crave for eating sugary things or salty things or, So it's easier for me to just eat once a day and be okay with it. I don't eat chips. I don't drink sodas. The obvious.
Right. It's true. There's stuff that's just so obvious, and yet if you develop some bad habits, you fall into some bad habits, you forget all about it. You don't even realize how you just go unconscious. You don't even realize all the unhealthy habits that you're just doing, self-indulgence and all that stuff. It's a mess. It's interesting how quickly you can just slip away.
And I think what you said, I was so happy when you said that all he was saying was BS, because I was waiting for you to say it.
There you go.
Because I think what you said was true. You need to be natural, have sleep, be active, drink water, and have a good diet.
That's right.
Just eat normal food, GMOs and all that. Yeah, better be living full than living craving. Like you said, the dying from hunger is not a good way to live.
Totally.
So I'll be better to eat my GMO food than starving to death.
Right. That's right.
So these days you get access to so much things nutritionally that you don't have to very look for it, I don't know if you understand what I mean.
No, I do know what you mean. They claim that there are food deserts in like the hood. And I don't know what the 7-Elevens are like in the hood, but at 7-Eleven, at McDonald's, and different places, you can get apple slices from McDonald's. You can get full apples from 7-Eleven, bananas from 7-Eleven, relatively okay sandwiches from 7-Eleven, perhaps. And you can get along. It's not a food desert. It's a lie. They act like all you have access to is junk food. But the healthful food, produce, it's cheap. It's cheap to get apples and bananas. And yeah, it's probably gone up thanks to Biden, and perhaps with the tariffs, they're going to have to go up for a bit. But it's still way cheaper than getting, and it will satiate you, than getting junk food.
Yeah, but be honest, Hake. It's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going up, but it's not let's compare that to if you make your own pizza at home with fresh vegetables and all of those things, or you're taking the frozen one that costs $12.
Right.
In Canada, that's approximately the cost of a frozen pizza.
Okay.
$12. Do you know what you can do with $12? With vegetables, pasta, a lot.
Indeed.
A lot much, and it's way healthier.
True. Great point, man.
I think the problem with a lot of people, they don't know how to cook. So they go quick. And
I don't know how to cook, and I don't care, but you don't really have to know how to cook because you can get, deli meat. Maybe deli meat, some people say, oh, that's not good for you. But say several slices of deli meat's better for you than some of the sandwiches that you get from the fast food. And or even just get pre-cooked frozen chicken and then just thaw out the chicken overnight and then just eat it.
Yeah. Why not?
Right. There's ways to get along without even knowing how to cook.
Man, if I could, I would heat my cat. I'm saying never.
Is that him in the background or her?
Yeah. Hey, do you want to say something, man?
Oh, cute.
Here you go.
That's funny, man. Great call.
So, hey, let your body tell you what you need. You got a beta backache. I had a beta back too before.
Yeah.
And you know what I did? Workout.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I just started walking.
Yep.
Started walking to my job.
Huge.
30 minutes walk.
Nice.
And by the time, it was okay, man.
That's right.
It took time, but now I'm okay.
Yeah.
I cannot spend too long at one place, maybe.
Right.
But when I start walking, everything's fine.
Same with me, man. When I'm walking on pretty much a daily basis, maybe even exercising, as long as I don't overdo it, like too crazy to get overzealous. Stretching in the evenings. Kevin Howe said that he stretches every night, and I think that's a good practice, actually.
Yeah, especially once you get older and older, you got to do it.
Yeah. I didn't used to think that it seemed natural to do it, but you should do it. It actually feels really good, to do it. And it feels good to exercise. So, yeah. Right on, man. I got to run, but great call, Michael.
No problem, Hake. Have a blessed day, man.
All right.
And hi to everybody. I'm out.
Nice. Cool. Before I get to Hayden in Tejas, who's up next, a few little things, okay? Mike Pence, he got this award. Is that a fake laugh? I don't know. People say, oh, Hake is so fake. Look, Pence. The JFK Profile in Courage Award goes to, from Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, former Vice President Mike Pence. This is an in-your-face Trump thing, right? Will receive the honor for, quote, putting his life and career on the line in overseeing the certification of the 2020 presidential election results. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Look at him. He reminds me of sort of Mr. Fields. Doesn't he look like Mr. Fields? Mike Pence to receive the JFK Profile in Courage Award. I've always kind of liked him, but I knew that he was, a politician. I loved his performance against the ridiculous Kamala Harris. If you ever have the interest and you didn't catch it, and I don't know why you would do this, but just check it out. He did really well against cackling Kamala Harris in the 2020 vice presidential election vice presidential debate. He just did fine. He did remarkably well. I did not expect him to do well, but he did well. But he has become a kiss-up lame-o. He was probably always this way. Politicians. He's a Christian, by the way, purportedly. He doesn't get alone with any woman who's not his wife. in a room. And that's probably good practice to avoid getting accused, or even tempted. God forbid you be tempted by some woman. But anyway, Republican presidential presidential candidate at the time, 2023. Oh, yeah, he tried to run against Trump. Lord. Mike Pence. He was governor of some state, I forget. I don't want to guess. I want to guess, but I won't. Republican Jewish Coalition's annual leadership summit at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. Hey, nice place. Is it still open? I feel like one of these places closed. John F. Kennedy Profile and Courage Award. This is maybe worse, less understandable than when they gave Jenner. Remember Jenner? Formerly known as Bruce Jenner, still known as Bruce Jenner, let's be serious. But he said, call me Kate. C-A-I-T. I shake my head. And they gave him the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. Courage in sports, because Arthur Ashe is something related to sports. I could see how that's, you're risking a great embarrassment, embarrassing yourself, falling into this transgender thing, Jenner. But he did it, and so it's like, wow, you were willing to embarrass yourself. I got to hand it to you, But I completely disagree with it. It's not the right thing. And it was at a time when it really didn't take any courage, because you're just the whole society, except for the haters and the people who know what's right, are on your side. The mainstream is completely on the side of the transgender agenda. Same thing with Mike Pence. It took even less courage to put his life and career on the line in overseeing the certification of the presidential election results. In other words, he went against what's right, against Trump, because Trump was right. Or he had the right, let's say, He had the right to be like, hold on. There's a lot of people who do not trust this. I'm one of them. And, I, of course, disavow that. That's the big lie, we're supposed to say, or they said at the time. Despite our political differences, it's hard to imagine an act of greater consequence than Vice President Pence's decision to certify Joe Biden during an attack on the U.S. Capitol. So said Caroline Kennedy and Jack Schlossberg in a statement. Upholding his oath to the Constitution and following his conscience, the Vice President put his life, career, and political future on the line, the pair continued. It took two liars to say it, standing behind one another. The award was created in 1989. How many years is that? 25 years after Kennedy died? Something like that, roughly. I don't know when he died. For some reason, I have 65 as when he died, but whatever. Public servants who have made courageous decisions of conscience without regard for the personal and professional consequences. I think he did the math because the math was against the political math, if you will. It's not math, but you read the room of the country had decided against Trump, meaning the establishment had decided against Trump. And he went with the establishment like he always does. That's not courage. That's ridiculous. And I don't know if JFK was any good. Some people really like him. You can tell me. I don't think Asmodor, our resident historian, was too big a fan of his. And he knew more than you or me, generally. He said he's deeply humbled and honored to be the recipient. He'll be presented with it in May. I've been inspired by the life and works of President JFK since my youth. What are you, Irish? And of so many distinguished Americans who've received this recognition in the past. So he stated in a statement. He broke with his boss, our greatest president, in his decision, in Pence's decision not to overturn the 2020 election results, while he was ceremonially overseeing the Congress's certification of Joe Biden's win on January 6th. They were saying, somebody said, hang Mike Pence. That was like hyperbole slash, you know, they felt that he was being a traitor to the country. They felt that that he committed treason, along with the rest of the mainstream anti-American American establishment. Because Trump is really the only pro-American politician in a big way that we've had, and effective with it. And that's why they hate him. That's why they want to go against him. So spare me your fake wave, phony Mike Pence. I love you. Ridiculous. It's not courage. Call things that are not. Trump is the courageous one. I get that he has a lot of backing. He has like a lot of people who support him, but they support him because he's courageous. They're pushing the measles, mumps, rubella, vaxx propaganda. By the way, let's see if I can scroll down here and then show you something Obama said too. 68.5% is how many children in the United States received the first dose. Oh, there's a first dose of the, listen to this, highly effective. And I'm not even saying it's not highly effective. I think it probably is highly effective, I guess. I forget whether I got this. I probably did, because I've never had measles. Measles, mumps, rubella, nor mumps, nor rubella, at least not to my knowledge, vaccine by 15 months of age in 2024, down from more than 77% in 2020. U.S. is now facing one of its worst measles outbreaks in decades. And they're like scaremongering about it. I saw on X, and I won't show it to you, but it's the Brady Bunch. I hated that show. But on the Brady Bunch, it's a TV show from 70s, 80s, or 60s or something. It was playing in the 80s when I was a kid. And the kids were like, oh, I have measles. Oh, this is great. You don't have to take medicine, but you get to stay home from school. And all you have to do is have a rash and have a fever. No big deal. At least that's what they were saying. And then there's present day entertainment TV shows, even worse than degenerate Brady Bunch, because that was a blended family, wasn't it? I don't know if that was divorce and remarriage, though, or if they were both widowers. But anyway, the like present day, oh, measles, drama. And I don't know what measles is like. I don't want measles. Can people die from measles? I think they can if they have other things going on in particular. And no, I don't want it. I mean, I don't like all these diseases coming into the country. And a lot of the people who are not getting the vaccines are not just the anti-vaxxer people who are skeptical, or the skeptics of the vaccines. It's also foreigners coming in here and people who don't believe in it. And you're letting them in, and then you're blaming the white mothers who are skeptical of the vaccines, or whose children, so they think, were harmed by the vaccines. Because in some cases, I think you can be harmed. Some people. So it's a interesting sort of. Pence, so courageous. And these people are not honest. Anyway, don't care that much about it, and it's a touchy subject for YouTube. So, and honestly, I don't know, and honestly, it doesn't really affect me. I don't care. You do what you see fit to do with your kids and self. Imagine if I had done this. So said Obama. Lord, phony Obama. And he's talking about the state of the country under our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, which the state of the country is fine. Amid the administration's recent actions, Obama and Harris publicly rebuke Trump's second-term actions. I remember evil, lame-o, ridiculous W refused to criticize Obama. He thought he was being classy. I don't know if that was classy, W. I guess W truly didn't love America, just like Obama. Yes, Obama, imagine if you had loved America the way Trump loves America, as he clearly does. That's why he's suffered through you guys' unjust persecution of him. Cackling Kamala Harris delivered remarks on the state of the country under our greatest president. He sharply criticized Trump's efforts to reshape the federal government. I heard on American Anchor Baby, I think it was Trump saying it, but maybe it was Anchor Baby, talking about transforming America. Might even have said fundamentally transforming America. And that's good, because we're transforming it from an evil, corrupt caricature of America by way of the communist Obama, I call him communist, into freedom, America, smaller, less government. So this is the first time I've been speaking publicly for a while, he said, at Hamilton College. I've been watching for a little bit. And he goes, imagine if I had done any of this. It's unimaginable that the same parties that are silent now would have tolerated behavior like that from me or a whole bunch of my predecessors, he said. And I'm mocking how I imagine he might have said it based on how he talks in the past. You would think they'd thank me, he said about the Tea Party when he did something evil. Doesn't think Trump's tariffs are going to be good for America, claims he. And he's also concerned about the infringement of rights. Give me a break. You did all kinds of infringements on rights. Obamacare, anybody? Total infringement on rights. Lilly Ledbetter, equal pay, dumb stuff. Total infringement on people's rights to kiss up to women, victim women. Deeply concerned with a federal government that threatens universities if they don't give up students who are exercising their right to free speech, he said. Oh, free Palestine. The idea the White House can say to law firms, if you represent parties that we don't like, we're going to pull all business or bar you from representing people effectively. That's contrary to the basic compact we have as Americans. This is the same guy who denied that his IRS, which they did, target the Tea Party and target election integrity groups. Did you know election integrity was a big issue 2016, 2012, 2008, even prior to that? Election integrity. At least it was a big issue in some of these conservatives' minds. Persecuted by the government. So you spare me your phoniness. Anyway, that's enough of that. I don't care. Yeah, imagine if Obama loved America, where we would be. I don't know, because that's not the reality. He did not love America at all. He hated America. A hateful person. Vindictive, mean, nasty, terrible. Hayden in Texas is on the line here. Hayden, thanks for calling, man. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, Hake?
Hey, going well.
Nice. Yeah, I want to apologize. I've been so unbelievably busy lately.
No worries, man.
I haven't been catching your show too much, but I did watch that 21-minute clip of that low life, or that moron calling you a low life.
I'm the low life. Yeah.
For all because you were telling the truth.
Didn't you enjoy his call though?
Oh, I did. Yeah, it was very entertaining. But I mean, the point is that the animal came out of him.
Right.
Because you were telling the truth.
True.
See, that's the funny part. It's unbelievable. And by the way, Mike Pence, he was the governor of Indiana.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that clarification. I started to say Indiana, but I wasn't positive, and I didn't want to say it wrong.
Yeah, well, I spent some time out there earlier on in my life, and everyone I respect voted for him, and we all liked him up until what happened in 2020. But
yeah,
I mean,
Right. Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
liked him. And I even liked him afterwards. I cut him some slack because, you know, he was under tremendous pressure, and I don't hold it against a coward to be a coward. I didn't expect him to be brave because I'd never seen him be brave before, really. I just seen him be a normal mainstream politician, so I really expected him to stay a mainstream politician. So
yeah, I mean, you can tell he's like God-fearing and stuff, which is good.
Mhm.
But I mean, at the same time, he ended up, I don't know, he seemed like a rhino to me towards the end.
yeah, total rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I mean, he was like running his mouth. Not a very loyal, not a loyal person. Which
no, not at all.
That's typical of people nowadays.
Especially at Jimmy Carter's funeral. I don't know if you saw that footage.
I didn't. Between Pence and Trump, I mean, I vaguely remember something, but yeah. What was that?
He pretty much like didn't acknowledge Trump. Like he just glanced at Trump, shook his hand, and just like.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't like the relationship they had before. It was pitiful.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I like Vance more, in my opinion, but
I hope that Vance turns out well. I don't have high hopes for him, honestly, either. But Jesse really likes him, and I do admire. You know, did he become a billionaire from being an Appalachian child of a drug addict, single mother?
Vance?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'll have to look that up.
Okay, yeah. Well, financially, you know, his success in jumping through the hoops, I can respect that.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. So again, I miss the show a lot, but I haven't been watching as much as I used to. Did you cover the Austin Metcalf? I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
I haven't.
Metcalf?
No, but you're talking about the stabbing at the track meet in Frisco, Texas?
Yes.
Austin Metcalf is the white young man who got stabbed to death by the black kid?
Yep.
Young man? Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't covered it, but I know about it because I heard about it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show yesterday and today. Jesse covered it.
Yeah. His dad. I'm not really happy with what Austin's dad's saying. His dad is pretty much denouncing the whole thing, that it wasn't political or wasn't racially motivated, which it completely was. Everyone sees it except for him. And then on the murderer's side, his name is Karmelo Anthony, like the basketball player.
Yeah, except this was with a K, Karmelo.
Right.
Right.
Right. He, everyone on his side is sticking up for him and saying it was Austin's fault that aggravated the whole situation, and they're all sending prayers to Karmelo instead of Austin. So his dad, Austin's dad,
You should pray for everybody.
100%.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, his dad is 100% white guilt, and
you might be right. I heard something to that effect, that he was just. And that's what got his son killed, basically, because he let his son be playing apparently with some blacks too closely.
Exactly right. Exactly right. It was a miracle. I don't know if you remember the whole Daniel Penny case, the Daniel Penny Jordan Neely case.
Yes.
It was a miracle he got justice.
The subway choker.
In New York, yes.
Yeah.
If Austin's dad
Rest
really
in
wants
peace.
justice, he needs to openly identify the sole reason his son was murdered, instead of hiding behind it and saying that this. He said it's a human issue that's going on, not a political or a race issue, which is bogus.
It's funny because people soften what's really going on. Like he's not acknowledging that the blacks, most blacks, have this hang up and hatred for whites. They'll when there's a conflict, when there's a disagreement or a conflict, the blacks will suddenly scream racism against the whites because they are the racist ones. You know, the blacks are the real racists, if you will.
100%.
Yeah, and I don't know what motivated this young man, and I'm sure that the whites could have handled them. These white young men maybe could have handled themselves better around an angry black, because you can't treat an angry black the way you can treat normal people. Normal people are going to be reasonable with you, but if you do something that seems to violate their rights, let's say you pick up their bag and say you got to get out of here or something, they're going to take umbrage at that and not going to acknowledge they're wrong. Be like, oh, you know, you're right, or or they even like kind of puff up your chest, but still like move on, you know, because people are going to get mad and cuss each other out and stuff, but they'll like, well, that's a jerk. They'll move on. That's crazy.
Well, so Austin's football team is saying that Karmelo was sitting in his seat, and Austin went up to him and said, "Hey, that's my seat. You're not supposed to be sitting there." And he for some reason ticked him off, and he stabbed him in the heart.
Yeah.
Like what in the world justify just for saying that's my seat?
Right.
I mean, that is insanity.
Well, I'm sure it escalated in between saying that's my seat and whatever.
I am too.
Because, you know, you do something, they say something smart at you, and then you're like, okay, you're being stubborn, so I'm going to have to physically remove you. And that's maybe not the smartest thing to do, especially with an angry, potentially violent black guy.
Right.
And so, but I get your point totally. It's ridiculous. Rest in peace to that man, and hope the guy faces swift and just justice, not revenge, not all the people yapping about it, who are like hating and defending wrongdoing and only looking at one side and not the other and all that stuff. That's people got to check themselves.
Exactly right. They need to wake up.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't surprise me one bit that the people on Karmelo's side sticking up for him, because they're all immoral. They're all going to stand up for skin color instead of content of character, which they've always been complaining about, but have been lying about.
People are hateful, man.
But it shocks me that Austin's dad isn't standing up.
I'm really not surprised.
For the right of his son.
No, I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised.
Yeah. Because it's typical for boomers, Gen Xers, fathers, parents to be lame like that.
Right. Yeah, you got a point.
And Christians too, to be lame like that. To say, "Oh, I forgive," and you don't even know what that means. You know, the guy probably hasn't forgiven. He just said he forgave because he knows Christians are supposed to forgive. You know, that's not real. But shout out to his father. I don't have any ill will towards him, but I think you guys probably have a fair criticism of that false white guilt thing. It's terrible.
White guilt, exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, and if that continues, I have noticed, you know, everyone is noticing people are waking up, quote unquote. I don't know how fast the rate is or whatever. But I mean, if we don't do something about, meaning like politically, if we don't do something politically about this now, we're not going to have a country left.
Yeah.
If we keep just bowing down and just saying it's a human issue instead of a race
and
it's funny because political issue.
It's funny because it is true that it's a human issue, right?
Yeah.
But more specifically, it is a blacks are hating whites issue, and they are encouraged and raised wrong to be angry and violent at the drop of a hat.
Exactly right.
All too frequently. And
it's vengeance.
Yeah, right. There's no way that it needed to get escalated to that level.
Yeah, wait, exactly.
Blacks be back here. I'm gonna talk black. I just did. Blacks be escalating, and they want to say, "Oh, train the police in de-escalation tactics." Fine, yes. Train the whites too. Train everybody in de-escalation tactics, because the blacks are not going to learn de-escalation. They're not going to learn it. You're expecting too much of them.
They've only gotten worse over the last 60 years. It's only gotten worse. They've gotten worse, and our country's gotten worse because we've succumbed to this whole not interracial integration thing, or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
And our country's gone down the tube. But before I go, what's your opinion on everything Trump's done so far?
I appreciate it. I agree with JLP. I don't really like or trust these women that he's appointing, or even many of these males that he's appointing.
Right.
He may be smarter now than the prior administration, because the prior administration, he appointed a whole bunch of people who just stabbed him in the back. It's crazy, and stabbed America in the back. But I really like the tariffs. I like Doge. I like what he's working hard to get the border under control and these illegals deported, especially the criminal ones, as a priority. So right on to him for that. And he is for honoring our heroes, our American heroes. So maybe we'll get a General Lee statue back that was destroyed or whatever,
gosh. Charlottesville.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Nice.
That would be incredible. But what do you think about these hypocrites burning down Tesla dealerships all across the country?
Terrorism. It's anti-American terrorism. And it's typical of the Democrats and the establishment mainstream media to be for that madness. And so they downplay it. And then they upplay like January 6th was this threat to Mike Pence's life.
I was just about to bring that up. I would have thought, while they're doing all this terrorist stuff to Tesla dealerships, that they wouldn't bring that up. They're still bringing up January 6th one day, despite what they're doing right now and what they did in 2020 during the BLM riots.
Exactly. And 2014, 2015, 2016 BLM stuff too.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. These people are terrorists and hypocrites. That's all that they are.
Yeah. Totally, man.
Last thing. What are the chances Trump runs in 2028?
I don't know. I love the fact that he said, "Oh, you know what? I'm not ruling out possibly getting a third term in, and I'm not joking." That's so cool. So I love it. I don't know what the chances are. I couldn't predict. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I say there's a pretty good chance. I was going through some comment section, not on your show, but somewhere else, on this liberal account, and they were like, I don't know how much longer I could take, how much more of this I can take, and they're just flipping out over him. Possibly being in office for 8 more years. I love it. I absolutely love it.
All they're talking to is trying to predict how bad it's gonna be.
Exactly.
They're not talking about how bad it actually is, because it's not bad, I don't think.
Yep. And he's only been in office for what, 100 days plus or minus?
Maybe approaching. I don't think it's even been 100 days. So January 20th, February, March. It's not even April 20th yet, so it's been less than 100 days. I want to say like April, May. It'll be around April or May. It'll be end of April, beginning of May. Somewhere around then would be like 100 days, I believe.
Wow. I mean,
75
he's
days according to Son of Liberty LGB. 75 days or so far.
He's done a lot, and he's done a good job versus being in office again.
Yeah.
But I mean, he still has plenty of time to prove himself too.
True.
But yeah, I'm for the most part, I'm pleased with.
Do you have any qualms about the wars that he's trying to end, Israel and Ukraine?
I'm just shocked it's still going on, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough dealing with those people. They're hard-headed, and it's pretty it's a pretty hairy situation on both sides. I mean, on both in both wars, it's a hairy situation with Israel and the Palestinians, and with the Russians and the Ukrainians. Biden allowed those things to go so out of control. Trump could have nipped them in the bud. They probably never would have happened had Trump been in office.
No, it definitely wouldn't have happened if he won, quote unquote, in 2020.
Right.
it wouldn't have happened.
If Pence had actually had courage, I don't know if Pence could have done anything, honestly. But interesting.
Yeah. The one thing I'm waiting for is retribution for these politicians and the rogue judges. That's what I'm waiting for him to deliver on, and I'll be satisfied.
Nice. Well, right on, man. It's good hearing from you. Hayden in Texas. Appreciate you.
Have a good weekend, Hake.
All right, you as well.
All right, see you. Bye.
Bye. Guys, yeah, don't worry if you can't catch the show. It's no big deal. You catch what you can when you can. No guilt, no shame. But I appreciate it. And you can always podcast on your own time, either listening to YouTube after the fact or podcasting by going to thehakereport.com and finding the Apple or Spotify or CastBox or maybe Podcast Addict or whichever podcast platform you prefer. I ought to be on all of them. There might be one or two that I'm not on, and I got to get back on them. I would be remiss. I feel remiss in my duty to read these super chats. Many, many super chats have come in, guys. Mr. Pink yesterday with a super chat, a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/ the Hake Report, spending so much time thinking about the shape of the earth. My globe. Pardon me while I get my globe. Come on. Oh, don't tell Bill. Bill is off today, so don't tell him. Don't tell him anything. Let's see if there's anything different. Is there any like black line up here or over here? I think we're okay. How is this area about here? Did you see me knock the TV? Anchor baby, just FYI, I knocked the TV background thing. Trying to get my globe. My obvious globe from show. Thank you, man. Okay, yeah, the shape of the earth. I'm out of breath because I'm out of shape, and it's not good. But it feels good, exerting myself a little bit. That's so bad. Spending so much time thinking about the shape of the earth, finding others to conflict with about it is one of the biggest psyops of our time, indeed. Just bring up something and fight about it. Just say something on the internet and watch the people fight. There was a Far Side cartoon where you put the people in a jar, in the Confederate jar. Pretend this was a glass jar, okay? See-through glass jar, such as this. You trap the animals, the two different types of bugs in here, the diverse races and flat earthers and baltards, and you shake it up and see if they fight. You see them fighting? Shout out to Gregatron. I think he's the one who gave me this Confederate States of America tin or steel or whatever mug, gold with gold plating. Thank you. And my show gave me this flat earth, I think. Okay, yeah, exactly, man. Do. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, terrible. Big psyop, yeah, totally. Imagine, and and it's funny because I'm agreeing with him, yet I'm guilty of it, you know? But I agree with him. Just because I'm guilty of it doesn't mean I'm agreeing. It doesn't make me a hypocrite to acknowledge that wrong is wrong just because I do wrong, you know? Imagine spending all the time wasted on Earth's shape instead of starting a business, improving society, or spreading the gospel. The good news of the flat Earth, or the good news of the ball Earth, created by God. Earth emoji, and he specifically shows the let me get this thing is in the way of my elbow. Earth emoji showing the North and South America. And he points at it with a less than sign, pointing at it. The earth is round. The emoji says it all. It does make for good comedic content, though, Hake. Am I right? Yes, you're right, Mr. Pink. And like Anchor Baby has has stated, I'm interested in how people think, how people fall to an assumption based on some misunderstanding about what they're seeing. A black and a white can look at the same incident and see Ahmaud Arbery was fighting for the gun. No wonder he got himself shot. And then the blacks will say, those whites chased that Ahmaud Arbery and stopped him, and he was fighting for his life. No wonder he fought for his life. Shame on those whites for shooting him. That's murder. And maybe they're both right, but I think the whites are more right than the blacks. But two people can say the same thing and ignore pertinent facts and obvious logic. They just don't have the IQ for it. You know how IQ allows you to recognize patterns and stuff, or I don't know. But it's just, they just don't have the sense to see that this is so clearly just dropping off. It's not vanishing point. You're not going to zoom in with a million power level zoom if we ever get to 1 million and see Mount Everest. You're not. You're never going to see Mount Everest because it's on the whole other side of the whole other face of the earth, of the beautiful ball earth. It's so flat and large that it's turned into a ball. But, oops, spending so much time thinking about the shape of the earth, Mr. Pink says, there's Hake falling for it again. Just bringing it up gets us people, autistic people, triggered. And we can't get away from it. It's like if I'm making a broader point and I mention Sean Hannity, a point that Sean Hannity said. Like, I heard Sean Hannity say more people, more crimes are prevented with guns than are committed with guns. Something like that. More lives are saved with guns than taken with guns. Stuff like that. You know, true statements. I heard Sean Hannity say it. People get hung up on the fact that I brought up Sean Hannity. And they're like, oh, Sean Hannity, lame. It's like when I said to Ardeen from Colorado, and then I got to move on. We, the native white Americans, are allowing all these immigrants in, and these immigrants don't have our values. And she got hung up on the fact that I said Native Americans, because that's what we are. You're born here, you're Native American, you know? So people get hung up on side issues that are not the point. Thank you, Mr. Pink. Nikki bought 5 coffees. I love the way you read my super chats and pointed at the camera on the JLP show. 5 stars. 5-star emojis. Thank you, Nikki, for the 5 coffees. Sweet. Very cool. Very kind. Lin Yan Chin wasn't able to get through with a tip on Streamlabs. Sorry, Lin Yan Chin. But Gregatron did yesterday. I got my taxes back. Here you go. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, taxes are due. I got to get my taxes in there. Let me refresh. I saw a generous one over here on Rumble. If I can find it. Scroll up here on the Rumble crew. Up there. See, JLP raided the stream. I'm going to have to raid JLP's stream back because the Fallen State is coming up in... We're going to start that in about 10, 15 minutes. But Based Nation gave a very generous thing, and it has a Trump dancing sticker thing. See that? Isn't that cool? Is that Trump? I think of it as Trump, but I'm not sure. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. Hold on. Complicated business, folks. Let's see if I can go any further. Yeah? Oh, terrible. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Dun, dun. You got to kiss the girl. Dun, dun, dun. Degenerate, evil kissing. I disavow the Little Mermaid. that was romantic propaganda forced down our throats. 1988, roughly. But there's Trump dancing. The Little Mermaid. No, not that one. I'm talking about the cartoon one. Whatever. Cartoon movie. 1989. I ran away from home. My best friend at the time, well, my best friend, because I was a kid, you know. His mother would take me home to my parents with them. I hid in the back seat with my friend, and we went home I went home with them, and she took me to see The Little Mermaid on a school night. And then afterwards, about 9 p.m., I'm like, I'm feeling kind of guilty. Like, we should call my mom, call my parents. And so they took me back home. Yeah. Little Rebel Hake. What date? What was the release date? November 17th, 1989. So it was in like November-ish of 89 that I saw The Little Mermaid. I think it was that one that I saw. Sorry. Robert in Kansas is on the line here. Robert, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm okay. Thanks. Hey, man, I'm sorry about yesterday asking you if you were baiting me. It was just maybe a Freudian like slip in terms of us being so gay and everything.
Well, but, you speak for yourself. Okay. No, I admit that I am when I do talk about the ball Earth, I am like asking flat earthers come talk to me because it's fun to talk to you sometimes.
Well, and you had mentioned, or Jesse had mentioned some Islam like coming in, and you know that symbol that they have where they have a star that basically shines through the moon. It's like a crescent moon, and then it has like a star that you can see through the moon.
Oh yeah, interesting.
So you can actually see it through the moon. So it's like either the star is in front of the moon or you can see through the moon.
Yeah, that's weird. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Well, like the firmament or heaven.
But that's not real. Like you can never see a star through the moon, right?
Oh, no. Hey, you better. That just happened very recently. Very recently.
Huh.
I'm talking last week. It happened very recently. You should Google it, YouTube it, whatever. But yeah, man, Islam. So like, you know how you guys talk about Islam and Jesse's like, this stuff is evil, you know?
Right.
And it's the thing that I am most famous for, right? Like the thing I got in the most trouble for in my entire life was talking about how evil Islam is.
Oh.
And what you got to realize, Hake, is that the reason you have Islam coming into your nation is that Jews control the government.
But it's interesting, though, because it's like counterproductive to themselves, too, except that they're never touched by it if they're in the government. If you're in the government, you don't really have to deal with the problem in your neighborhood, you know?
Well, Islam is just Talmudism for dummies. That's all it is. That's why they say you can lie to your fellow man.
Right. I mean, it's human nature, honestly.
Okay. So what they how they use.
Don't I sound like what's Metcalf's dad saying? It's a human thing.
Well,
it's not a Jewish thing.
They use Islam as a broom. Okay, it's a broom for the Jews. So if they want to get rid of Christians or whites or whatever, they use it as a broom.
I get your point. I've heard this theory before, and it makes sense in practice. Like it's the Muslims are making babies like crazy. And they're pushy, and they pretend to be peaceful and humble, and just want to get along and exist until they're like 10%, and then they cause a ruckus. And,
well, they ship them out of the Middle East, so they take Palestinians and they put them in Canada.
right,
And in
because of all
like,
these
why do we
wars
have
and
it?
things. These wars are the excuse to, oh, we need to take these people as refugees. Ilhan Omar, give me a break.
Wars for Israel, right? Every war that we've had, I was in Iraq. It's all for Israel, man. It's all the wars are for Israel.
So you claim Trump didn't do any wars for Israel? Did he? He did a little bombing for Israel. He's sending the Houthi, but it's partly for us too, because, for example, the Houthi ships, I get that they're reacting against Israel, right? The Houthis are. Houthis are mad because Israel is taking over Palestine or whatever. And the America is going over to address the Houthis, but the Houthis are messing up our whole. They're the ones overreacting too. You could say Israel's overreacting, but the Houthis are overreacting, and they're messing things up for everybody with the trade, right? So, you can say, oh, Israel's bad, but you're not looking at how they're bad too.
Well, I'm not saying anything about Israel. I don't live there. I'm saying we have Chuck Schumer is the leader of the Senate. He's a dual citizen, just like the rest
Chuck Schumer, by the way. I gotta run. You've made your point.
But that's why you have Islam. That's why you have Islam coming into your country, because Jews run America. That's the problem.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, they get black people and white people to hate each other. Like they're just.
I don't hate blacks.
Well, no, but they tell the blacks to hate the whites. That's who's telling them to hate the whites, and vice versa.
Well, shame on them for listening. I got to run. Good talking with you, man.
All right, bye, Hake.
Take care. Oh man, he got me with the click. That was a malicious click, by the way. I'm not falling for your fake love, you psycho. Shout out. I'm just kidding. He's not a psycho. This is the end of the show, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. The Fallen State coming up next. This is Slightly, the artist, Creeping Things. Hope you enjoy it. Bye.
Last night I went walking in the woods behind your house. The night was very beautiful and very clean. I walked for several hours and my hands became cold and blue, and it was hard to move my fingers without pain. I could see my breath clearly in the moonlight. My boots crushed small twigs and winter snails, leaving heavy fairy prints of shattered shell and silky mucus in their wake.
Isn't this nice?
When I came to a thick of cedar, I could smell him. He was not frightened, though. He knew what would happen next, just as well as I did. He tried to mask his scent behind that of the cedar, but I knew better. We had been through this before. In fact, he knew so well that this time he did not run when I reached down to break his neck. He gave a small shrill sigh and then lay in my arms, like a child or a tired lover. I caressed his body, warm and plush, and buried my nose deep into his belly. Slowly, I began to nibble. I chewed a straight line down his abdomen, neatly, not even breaking the fascia. I raised his body above my face as I pulled back the skin so that for a moment like many other moments, like the second before you destroy an enormous spider web or break a brand new dish on a clean tile floor. The belly hung above my face, held together by the thinnest of membranes. I could see his stomach still digesting. I could see his lungs ripe with one final exhale. I could see his heart where
oh man, I gotta get out of here.
And then I could see nothing because all of these cascaded onto my upturned face and stung my eyes, and I became blind again. The rotting mess flowed onto my neck and down my chest and soaked the waistband of my pants. I sat down on the
Take care, guys.
floor and placed the carcass on my head.